It would help if I added myself to the stream, wouldn't it? That would be a good start. Hello. Episode 3. The end is the beginning. What an episode title. Kind of wish it was the end, to be honest. It's not that bad. It's not that terrible. And I'll tell you why. I might be drinking non-alcoholic beverages today because I foolishly drank all my wine after the first 2 episodes and all my beer. But it's okay because I have company today. I've got backup. I've invited my brother from the Banterbrise to come and indulge and keep me sane. I need someone to keep me sane during this adventure. We've arrived at episode 3, which, if I remember correctly, is essentially the end of the first act. So, I mean, hence the reason why they call it the end is the beginning, I guess. But I don't know. What I've forgotten to do is to stick in the chat the link to the watch party. So Amazon Prime, you people know what to do. There we go. There's the link right there. And no, I can't do that. There we go. So if you want to watch it with me, come and join in. Hello, Space Guy 932. I hope you're doing well. As I said, yes, I'm joined by my good friend Chris today. He's going to be basically child-minding me, keeping me from stropping too much on the internet. I'll be completely honest, I can't remember much of this episode either, except we meet Rios in this one, and we leave Earth and we finally go somewhere. I can't remember where we go. I can't remember what happens. I've tried to put it out of my mind. But look, here we go. Let's just do this. Please welcome, at this time, my good friend, Chris Wickham. Hey, Chris. How you doing?
As the kids might say, wobble lubba dub dub. I'm okay. How are you?
That's another franchise.
It is. Crossover.
We should just watch that instead.
Oh, could you imagine? So I'm here to not vehemently, but defend Picard, because I thought it was alright. And I often have to put Michael back on a path of sanity, so here I am.
Do you remember when we were watching this for the first time? The barrage.
Oh, how could I forget?
Hey, Michael, what did you think of this episode? Instant regret.
Tirade of darkness.
Oh dear. Well, yes. I mean, we could watch Rick and Morty, but I don't have a sufficiently high enough IQ to watch that show, as we all know. Chris, I know you do. But perhaps that's what we need. Perhaps that's what I need to enjoy Picard Season 1. Perhaps my IQ is just not high enough, whether that's my academic intellect or my emotional understanding. They're just not high enough.
I've known you for at least 20 years, and I think your IQ has only just reached double digits. So keep on going. Maybe one day you'll understand Picard.
It's like room temp. It's room temp IQ. Right. Let's get on with this. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. I hope you're doing well. Come and join in. Tell us what you think of Picard, what you like about this episode. So the format is the same as the first 2 episodes, only we have Chris to join in as now. So we're going to watch it. If you have it, if you're an Amazon Prime customer, you can access via the watch party link that I've shared. You can watch on CBS All Access. You can watch it on your Blu-ray, your DVD, your VHS, if you're that way inclined. Or you can just pirate it. Not that I condone that. I don't condone pirating. Don't do that.
Agreed.
Chris has done it. Chris has done it before.
What?
Oh my god.
But
So yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a countdown in a second. We're going to get this episode going. I am watching this with the intention of trying to better understand what they were trying to do, following the questions, the thematic seeds that are being planted in the early episodes. My first viewing experience, as you all know, and as Chris definitely knows, was not an enjoyable one first time round. But you know, like I've said, time is a good healer. Time heals all. And
it's also the fire in which we burn. So
it is also
double-edged sword.
But I will say that the last 2 episodes have just been the same kind of reaction from me. Not as, I mean, I think I started really not enjoying this show around the midway point, around Stardust City Rag.
Yeah.
That's when
you basically lost your sanity, I think.
That's when it become furious hate, and lots of WhatsApp messages. I don't think it's going to be like that this time. I'm trying to. What I'm doing over the course of watching each episode, Chris, to let you know as well, is I'm trying to suggest how I think they could have done it better. I'm kind of armchair rewriting it, or suggesting things that they could have done to improve the delivery of the message, the way, the kind of just tidying up a little bit. Because I do think what is irrefutable and inarguable is that the show does get messy at times. But there we go. So opinions in the chat, keep them coming. Let us know what you like about this episode. Like I said, if you've got this episode, cue it up because we're going to go in 10 seconds. Chris, are you ready, my sir? My sir?
I was born ready.
Oh, that's what I like to hear. Right, let's get this going. God help us. God help us all. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fun time. Love the Amazon original. What an
You're going to say that's the best bit.
All right, we'll keep the recaps on as well because I like to remember what happened yesterday. Oh. Shut the fush.
Beautifully shot.
This is interesting kind of close up on their fingers gripping onto each other's flesh like they've known each other intimately for years. They just hooked up like after an hour of knowing each other.
I will agree that their relationship isn't as explored as deeply as it probably should have been.
There's that music that I hate. Chris knows music. Chris is a musician. We'll talk music at some point, but it's just be excited, mysterious, intrigue, suspense, secrets.
It's extremely prevalent, more so than Discovery here.
It is. Yeah. Oh, flashbacks.
Is this the flashback of the instant itself? Or have I missed that already? With F8?
Yeah, so Mars is already.
Oh yeah, I've missed it.
So this is like a flashback recap. I kind of don't know why they needed to do that. Shot still doesn't make sense for me unless they planted thermonuclear weapons.
Well, let's assume, just for narrative's sake, that there was a lot of planning leading up to that point.
Starfleet headquarters.
So I got a kick out of him in this uniform, I must say.
It does raise the question because they changed the uniforms between Nemesis and Picard like 4 or 5 times, and they used the the monster maroons from the motion picture movies. They kept that for like 90 years. Anyway, I think this. I'm trying to remember what they say in the scene. Starfleet tech sounds like GoDaddy help support.
What really wound me up the most about Picard? That the term android was seemingly abandoned.
Yeah. She is. Oh yeah, drink every time she says JL.
It's such a clunky nickname.
Thanks for telling us what we already know.
What about the newcomers? Think of the newcomers.
No newcomers are watching this.
My girlfriend watched it. She was a newcomer.
You made her watch it.
That's true. Her first reaction was, "Oh my god, he's so old now." Yeah, time is the fire in which we burn. And his time is running out.
See, I don't get this. Right? Like, why would Starfleet fire her for just the association?
Yeah, for being a supporter. It's not like she's gone behind Starfleet's back.
No.
yet.
Now, if she had basically helped him steal an entire fleet in a desperate attempt to save just a small village, that would make sense. This is the problem that I have with this show: is it kind of just forces you to accept certain things that don't seem to be in line with what our characters, what our heroes would have done in the show that came before it. You know, Jean-Luc Picard would not just resign and go and make grapes, make wine. He would have done everything he could. He would have commandeered shuttles. He would have done anything he possibly could. We've seen him go above and beyond on multiple occasions. In films, he led an insurrection, didn't he? You know, there would have been...
Which film?
There would have been things that he would have done. And the whole... the fracturing of this relationship, which they attempt to just go, oh, JL, 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 to try and force this idea that they're close. I mean, that's fine. But then to break that friendship, just like that, it's like two friends having a tiff.
It's difficult to care about because you say the hard work hasn't been put in to establish their relationship. So you're meant to feel something in that opening that they have broken up as friends, but the groundwork hasn't been laid. So I understand what you're saying. And I appreciate the difficulty they must have had to establish these new relationships that obviously took place in the gap. But from what I understand, the novel did a relatively decent job of filling that gap.
Fuck the novels. Fuck the novels.
I know what you're going to say. You shouldn't have to rely on other media. No, I agree with you, but I'm just throwing that out there. Hashtag Vasquez rocks.
Vasquez rocks.
Says it.
I would be happy living there. I don't know why she's so unhappy. I mean, that pad looks better than my house.
It's like the shipping container houses I look at on Instagram.
I'd buy that.
Yeah. Let me tend to my drugs.
But look, the kind of going to what I was saying, like how I would make that better. I would just add more in. I would have the third episode have interjecting flashbacks showing Picard and Raffi outside Starfleet headquarters, almost like Kirk in The Search of Spock. The answer is no, I am therefore going anyway. They said no to this alternate rescue plan. So he goes, fuck them. I'm Jean-Luc Picard. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to do what I feel is right. She goes, yes, I'm with you because you're my mentor. I look up to you. I respect you. You then have 2 or 3 flashbacks showing this, showing that rescue mission that just hits the fan. It doesn't go well. And she gets chewed out for it because she takes affirmative action doing the right thing. Starfleet is obviously run by idiots. We kind of know that already. And that would explain how their relationship had soured.
Going to the flashbacks, I mean, every time I think of a really decent use of flashbacks, I think of Orange is the New Black. That does a really good job of establishing backstories for a huge cast.
I think people who might defend that might go, oh yeah, but you wouldn't have enough time to tell present time story. There's a lot of stuff in episodes 1 and 2 that you could jettison in favor of filling in the gaps, particularly the gaps that we need to care about, the stuff we need to care about.
And I know I'm supposed to be here to defend it, but I think the biggest problem with this show, and also Discovery in my opinion, is that we're not given enough time to build up consideration and care. So some of the reveals and the more emotional moments just fall a little flat.
It's kind of like the issues with Discovery and Picard is that they're kind of like, we need to move this forward. We need to move this forward. Don't think about it too much. Don't think about it too
rushed.
Much. And when you see people go, oh, this show's better for binging. Well, of course it's better for binging because you can watch it all and your brain can't process that much information in 10 hours.
Absolutely. Anyway,
yes.
Let's be quiet.
Let's have her insist how much she hates him for 10 minutes. All to just kind of go, oh, here's a ship. Don't touch me. But thanks for the wine.
If I was Raffi, I'd just beam the grapes out of the vineyard. Just like really slowly so he wouldn't notice.
We lost the harvest. How much? The entire harvest. What do you that would be a better season, right? Better season of Picard is Picard has to solve the mystery of his disappearing grapes. not only the grapes in his vineyard, but the grapes down there. What happened to the hero of Labar? How did he become the hermit?
Then you'll have Robert won't be around. He burned to death in a fire, didn't he?
Don't remind me. Let him do all the work, beam the bottles out. I love that. Yeah. It's a timeless kind of bandit story. Like they're on their way to downtown and they're getting beamed and attacked. And
I think he'd notice a bottle being gone more than like individual grapes. Just be 1 grape an hour.
It's all the good high quality grapes as well.
Yeah, why are we only left with the shit grapes?
That's how you could have the science element back into Picard. You could be like they're running level 9 diagnostics because they all run level 9 diagnostics in the future. And oh wait, Hugh's back. Sorry. Hello, Hugh. Hugh, I think, is completely without question, like my highlight of the season.
He's up there.
Yeah. And we thought that he would be misused and have a small, inconsequential role. I mean, it's a shame what they did with him in the end, but a highlight. I mean, the reunion between him and Picard, wonderful. And for a guy that hasn't had many acting gigs over the last few years, doesn't look like he's lost or missed a beat. Really good performance.
Like he's only improved.
Yeah. I didn't get any of this when I first watched it.
Well, I suppose it makes more sense as the storyline progresses, doesn't it? You're still going on that one bowl. Probably my third by now.
Why weren't you there? That's quite a leap. That's interesting. I forgot that I missed that line first time around. So she has concrete evidence that there's someone in Starfleet manipulating events. But what do? They get in a ship and they go far away and explore something else. Surely it would make sense to spend some time exploring that.
Yeah, I suppose you could have also had like essentially two teams, so you could have a team on Earth investigating that, and then the team that goes to find Bruce Maddox.
I'm assuming that Raffi just did some landscaping in the 14 years that she was drinking wine, stealing that wine.
I mean, it would make sense if she was drinking wine all that time that she only managed a bench in 14 years.
I mean, wine makes you quite lethargic. It's like,
it's not even a bench. It looks like a box, an impossible box.
Ooh! More whispers. Now go.
Now go.
He stood all the way over there and he's 120 years old. He can't hear shit. Oh no, it's the sunglasses. Oh no. Oh.
Just the camera angle. I don't know if it's supposed to be music.
I know you can explain this because she's half Romulan, half Vulcan, but they do mention in Enterprise that Vulcans don't need sunglasses for the intense sunlight because they have like an extra eyelid that's like
in the Kishara arc.
Yeah. And I know Vulcans and Romulans have probably diverged a little bit, but their core fundamental being is still the same. So we don't need these. Romulan Rubik's Cubes. Now, this doesn't make sense. Because in the episode Unity with Chakotay, is it Unity?
Oh, yeah.
There's a Romulan doctor who was assimilated by the Borg.
One of the highlights of Season 3 of Voyager.
Yeah. And he didn't look like he was having a bloody breakdown.
Well, to be fair, Hugh did say as far as he knew.
Yeah, but it's kind of... I mean, I guess it could be localized to that one cube, I guess.
I assumed it was.
But given how many species the Romulans of Borg have assimilated over the years, what are the chances that you have even two of the same species on a cube?
But Hugh surely would have been aware of everyone that was assimilated. Being part of the hive mind, he would retain that knowledge like Seven did, I assume.
Yeah. I don't like that ship.
I was actually just thinking, I didn't remember such a lingering shot of that ship, so that was quite nice.
No, it's not a Federation ship, is it? It doesn't deserve that fanfare. Don't do that. Hello.
Rios is a highlight of this series, in my opinion, as an
Yeah,
actor and a character.
there are things that they establish with the holograms that don't quite add up, but we'll get to them.
Do you ever find in like shows where there's one actor playing multiple roles, you think, what is their actual accent?
Well, he's Chilean, but I think he was born in the UK. But he's just a very dynamic talent, isn't he? He's I mean, he does have a lot of faces in this, and
Particularly like that scene in a later episode where Raffi's working with all of the holograms to establish why
yeah,
he's
but it
in
kind
a
of
particular mental state.
it establishes something pretty neat, but they don't use it in the finale, which I kind of thought was a waste of time because I thought that you would have all of Rios's holograms band together to help win the final conflict, but none show up.
That's Tom Paris. He'll be back by now, surely.
Yeah.
I didn't realise he mentioned it this early as well.
No, never did I. You have been on that ship for a minute. How could you have seen every bulk and fitting and...
He's Captain Picard. He's very perceptive.
He walked in a line.
That's all he needed. That's all he needed.
No, that's the cigar.
It's the whiskey, surely. And the cigar.
Oh, cross it off. Picard's speech. That's coming soon. Is there a shot in this episode where what's her character called again? Raffi. Is there a shot where she's not drinking or smoking?
Yeah, she goes through that brief interlude where she's not substance abusing. You've been targeted.
And yet
Exposition dump.
And yet that guy at the front desk in the last episode didn't fucking recognize him.
Picard.
This feels like a conversation between different show writers of Star Trek. Spare me the moral postulating. New Trek, spare me the adolescent bickering.
Social commentary.
I like
deactivate hologram mid-sentence. Come on.
I like the scene though. It's exploration of character. It's just everybody's so bloody miserable and moody.
I'm just really attracted to Rios. I'm not gonna lie.
He's a good looking dude.
I know. I wish I looked half as good as that.
I do too. It would make for a much better stream.
I'm just a dull white guy. A bird and I'm a spare.
I wish I was back in TNG.
Is this the scene with all the name drops? Or was that in a previous episode? Where they're like,
Name
oh,
drops?
call up Worf, LaForge, Riker, the old crew.
Well, they just did a load of name drops in that Rios scene as well. Why aren't they coming?
I don't understand why number one didn't go with him. I mean, Porthos was on the Enterprise.
I mean, they dropped these characters like a bad habit, and it was really sad to see.
They were a highlight of these first three.
Oh,
sure.
They were. And given their skills, and given what they're about to do, it would have made sense for them to have come along. A sense of wonderment. Oh, it's gone.
And it's gone.
And these stupid cards. I do like aspects of this show building on Romulan culture, though. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. I think up until Picard, I always thought the Romulans were relatively underutilized, but then I went back and watched TNG and was like, I'm wrong.
There is an argument to be made, like, I don't want everything explained. Not everything has to be explained. Not every culture has to be explored, because that, you know, that builds mystique and intrigue. And he's come back from Space Morrison's. That's a supermarket for my American friends. Sorry, being a bit British.
Walmart.
How lucky that he dropped his onion. Don't smash him with that bottle. That's a bottle of Chateau Picard.
That was poised ready for transport from Raffi. It's like, I can't lock on.
Oh dear. Let me ask the question again. Why are they not coming with Picard?
I was literally just thinking, they are so qualified to be on that ship.
Well, from my understanding, from the comic books and books, never explained in the shows, they're former Tal Shiar operatives.
Did not know that.
But here they're just depicted as being housekeepers who are also really nifty.
Pretty handy with a gun.
And I mean, you could have introduced these two in the flashbacks where they're attempting to rescue, and these two could have been introduced to Picard as the big Romulans on the screen in the adversarial old TNG classics, but they came round because they can see that he's genuine. Oh, and someone else got shot. Oh, this is lucky. That's convenient.
I did knock.
That sounds like something Worf would say. Klingons do da da da.
I swear they said that on Enterprise quite recently as well.
Oh, we watched it together, didn't we? Ceasefire.
Oh yes.
They didn't watch Enterprise.
That wasn't Romulans though, was it? It was Andorians. Their
True.
weapons didn't have a stun setting. That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking of here.
Yeah. So they didn't watch Enterprise. That's a healthy way to deal with some potential PTSD. Drink. Give us some water.
Water would have been the first port of call. What I did like about her, even though it did grate a little bit, is that obviously she never really did any space travel. And she was understandably apprehensive when she was on the ship for quite a lot of the journey.
She was quite flippant about it, wasn't she? She's like, space is so boring. You work in a room. Okay, I quite like that shot though. That's something that I missed first time around. Oh, that's a good question. So where did she get the gun? Do we think she was with them? Because I mean,
that's a good point. Because she would have rocked up just normally, like, "Hey, Picard, I'm here to see you."
Yeah.
Or did she pick it up off a fallen Romulan?
It's probably a question I'll answer in the book somewhere.
All right, calm down.
Drink up.
Calm down, mate.
I'm trying to remember and understand why she's speaking to her right now. And I'm also, this is very important, why do I care?
I mean, I know what it leads up to, but I can't remember why she's having this conversation.
Don't call him that.
How dare you?
That's a good line. Every planet has a north.
Bloody Northerners. What?
Yeah, how does she know that?
She's a know-it-all.
So I guess, given what we find out and what we know, this could be some... Because she's essentially on a mission, isn't she, to find out more about what happened to create the synth ban, if I remember correctly. And it's all happening... she's kind of like a deep cover agent, isn't she? So she's being compelled...
So she doesn't know, does she?
Yeah, and the Romulan knows her. But also, how would the Romulan know? Because she's held onto that glow stick in the desert. Oh dear.
Oh,
It's going to be quite a hangover. Okay, so more of this kind of makes sense, I guess, as we find out a little bit more. That guy's haircut as well in the background, like proper
I mean,
Danzig.
Romulans are famous for their exceptional haircuts.
But what I'm confused about is the Romulan lady. She knows that there's a massive AI threat, but she doesn't know anything about. She couldn't know anything about Soji and Daj because they're not prophesized, are they? It's just the impending artificial intelligence invasion and Armageddon. Soji and Daj
Yeah.
are independent from that. They weren't in the vision, unless the alien octopus in the sky was prophesizing two androids would turn up, but that doesn't make sense. Oh, see ya.
That's exactly how I feel right now, to be fair. Not because of this episode, just I'm tired.
Hello, I'm Narek.
He seems like the kind of person who would announce his name every time he walks into a room.
Very sexy man, but then as soon as he just speaks, it's just like, it's all gone.
Hello, I'm Narek.
Hello.
Hello, Governor.
I've only known you for a minute, but we live together now.
This is how she knows it's certainly programmed, isn't it? And it's being drip fed, potentially.
Yeah, but why would she be sent to investigate a Romulan who was assimilated by the Borg?
Maybe it was just a piece of a larger puzzle, not particularly. It was that particular Romulan, wasn't it?
Yeah. And they're a super secret organization, so they wouldn't have known that she was part of the Jadvaj. You've known her for a day.
Guessing you don't believe in love at first sight.
For a very xenophobic race, that's an extraordinarily short time.
Yes, but he's supposed to be acting like a nice guy.
He is. Okay.
He's undercover.
They're both undercover. Oh, here we go. Here's the confusing thing. Like, what? Oh no.
Hey there.
I'm going to assume, because a lot of people kind of, I mean, they do call each other brother and sister, don't they? But that could just be Romulan thing. That could just be like, they might not be related, and they're just like, that's
the
my
words
brother.
just don't translate very well to English.
Yeah, it could be like comrade. I don't know.
I thought this would be very like 10 things I hate about you, where the guy is paid to take the girl on a date, but ends up falling in love with her anyway. But then he just betrays her in like the most savage way possible. Oh, spoilers, by the way, everyone. Ruined it.
That's not a good argument. Please, can I come with you on a very dangerous mission? I'm nice, and so are you.
I killed someone and you're all right. Costs nothing.
That sounds like something a space Karen would say. She doesn't earn her keep at all. It causes more trouble than she's
if anything, she does the least.
She murders people.
2 to be exact. She's a liability.
That is the worst name of a planet ever. I would have preferred something like Xalophon 4.
It's interesting how much exposition there is in this show. Yeah, they all talk to each other as if everyone knows what Free Cloud is, but the audience doesn't.
Yeah. It's almost like there's exposition for the stuff that we don't need and no exposition for the stuff that we do need.
Yeah, in this case. Gonna say
it. My reaction exactly.
She's like, tired of this.
That's pretty neat, though.
The outtakes are interesting, watching Rios just do this without the effects in.
There we go. The mission begins. Right.
The ship is growing on me, I must say. The ship.
Let's try and let's remember. Let's think about what is happening. So they're on a mission. They're on a mission to find
Bruce Maddox.
But originally they were on a mission to find the other Daj.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember what.
They're assuming that Bruce Maddox will know something about her whereabouts because he was developing synths in secret.
Right, that's it. How did she find out that Bruce Maddox was on Free Cloud?
Because she's rappy and she's really good at looking at the internet.
She drank some wine and tapped some stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, all right.
And it's established that she does a lot of that kind of activity because she knew about Romulan infiltrators on Earth. So I don't think that's too much of a leap that she just kind of did her own research and found Bruce Maddox. Because that's essentially why Picard was trying to recruit her in the first place, because of those talents.
Does any of this kind of corroborate her hard, stone cold evidence that there's somebody inside Starfleet? That kind of got dropped quickly.
It did a little bit, yeah.
I don't think it ever actually comes back up. I think between us, we've kind of come to a better understanding with regards to what Soji is doing on the Borg cube, but you can kind of just explain it away as being activation, data uploads, faith.
I actually have forgotten Soji's purpose. I know you've watched the first two. I haven't recently.
She's just on the cube. She's just there. And the cube is also, I was talking about it yesterday, is the cube is very it's just there. It's very difficult to understand what they're attempting to do. We saw a scene in the previous episode where they're stripping drones for parts, and there's clearly some sort of commercial gain being, they're doing it with a pretense of, well, they're helping ex-Borg drones reclaim their lives. My question is, why are there still Borg drones on a ship 14 years after it deactivated.
So from what I understand, there's two operations going on the cube. There's the reclamation project, which is Hugh's thing, and then there is the Romulan salvage operation, and then they've reached like an uneasy truce or agreement about who does what where.
Yeah.
But from what I understand, having read about the behind the scenes, I know that there are essentially two stories that kind of got merged into one.
Is it the Romulan refugee and the synth ban?
I don't know what they were specifically, but I just feel like the cube, they really wanted that cube in there, regardless of how the story ended up.
Yeah.
So it got woven into the narrative that they came up with, even if it doesn't make 100% sense.
It does. I mean, I think, yeah. I guess my questions about the Borg cube though are, I mean, because we find out later on that it's a joint venture. Well, it has some Federation input. It's not just 100% Romulan, and we see that with the various alien races walking around doing their own work. When I was watching this for the first time, I was kind of hoping the Romulan that there was going to be some sort of like horror element where a piece of Borg technology reactivated and regenerated, and there was like a, you know, and that would propel that storyline along, as in, you know, they're trying to find Soji, but she's stuck on a Borg cube that's coming back to life. That would have created some genuine, you know, tension and thrills, and there would have been a mission in that. That would have been, I would have liked that, and they could have done that. But I
feel like just looking back at the story, you could easily take out a lot of the Borg aspects of the narrative, and it would still be the same story.
But you know why the Borg's in it? The Borg's in it because the Borg.
But it's not the Borg, is it? So
no. But I still go back to the whole kind of, why are there still, you know, liberated drones, XBs, whatever they're called? Why are they still on the cube? Like, surely they would be like, I'm
done with this place.
I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know, let's just say, for argument's sake, because it's about 14 years that this cube was disconnected. I might be wrong on the exact year, but let's say it's just 5 weeks from being liberated from the Borg cube. You'd get out of there. I do not want to be in this place where I was trapped for years. I had my individuality erased and taken away. I'm not staying there. And there are people living on that cube.
After a few weeks, they're like, it ain't so bad. We'll just put some fairy lights up.
It's kind of, and I do wish that the season had, I wish they had just, because they kind of blew their load a little bit. They're trying to tell too many stories. They're trying to tell us the plight of the Simps. They're trying to tell us the plight of the Romulans. They're trying to tell us the plight of the XBs. You know, there's a lot. There's some really good stories here. That, do you know what? There's 3 seasons of stories that could have been told here.
There's also the plight of, you know, Picard's personal struggles with the people that are on the ship with him. You know?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
There are so many plights you could explore, and you're absolutely right. Like, there's 3 seasons of material right there.
Yeah, I mean, you would have, you know, the reconnection of Picard and Raffi and his, you know, re-emergence on the intergalactic front, and then what I would have done is I would have gone with the Romulan stuff, because I found my biggest question when I was watching this for the first time is, you know, why would the Romulans willingly sabotage their own rescue mission? And the first few weeks I was watching Picard, I was like, that's a really interesting question. And they don't answer it. They don't. I mean, she just goes, wow, AI, bad.
But it's not the Romulans as a whole, is it? It's a small, independent subsection of the Tal Shiar that are really making these decisions. Again, the Romulan people seem to have splintered, but again, that isn't explored in enough depth.
Yeah, I mean, the Romulans being a bunch that just can't get on is something that we've seen before. I mean, we saw it in Nemesis, didn't we? We saw it in Unification. It makes sense for that to be kind of exacerbated by the fact that their planet blew up.
But I think me and you especially, were probably eager to see that, because obviously the last thing that we knew that happened within the Prime Universe was the Romulan supernova. So immediately you're like, well, what was the aftermath of that? You know, did it change the status of power in the Alpha Quadrant? so many questions that.
Well, that's an interesting thing. I mean, there's none of that here at all. And you and me, they're like the first questions that we would have. We'd be like, yeah, so how did the Ferengi take advantage of all this?
Those are the real questions.
Or even a more serious question, did this present the Cardassians an opportunity to reclaim some territory following the absolute devastation that was the Dominion War?
What about the memory of Shran?
Exactly. What about Shran? Interesting question.
What about his daughter?
Interesting, Philip. Yes, wasn't it something like the XBs from Federation Worlds could leave because of an arrangement Federation had with Romulans, but Romulans made others stay there as a workforce?
That seems plausible.
Yeah, but surely the Federation would be like, "You're doing what now?" We're not cool with that. Stop that. But this is more interesting. So those races in the Delta Quadrant. Yeah. So I mean, but you would have species from all across the galaxy, assuming. So there would be a lot of displacement, but surely they would move them off the cube. I mean, it's let's just talk about trauma in general. Right? You are involved in a horrific car accident. The two aren't comparable. I do appreciate I'm being very general here. You're in a car accident. They don't keep you at the side of the accident for 14 years, do they? You can't leave.
Talk about an oversimplification.
While you're here, I mean, Picard's an oversimplification, really. But while you're here, can you fix the car as well, please? It's there we go. Look, this is this has been fun. Thank you for being with me, Chris.
Oh, you're welcome. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, you probably roped him for the rest of the season now. That's we'll talk about that off air. Thank you for joining in the comments, in the chat. I hope you've enjoyed this. I have. I promise.
What would you rate that episode? Just to finish off, out of 5.
I'm not rating.
No. Actually, no. You should do a tier. So, like, if you have to give it a grade.
The thing is, it's really hard. But I mean,
it's very difficult to grade the individual episodes, isn't it? Because this is essentially a 10-episode long episode.
It is. It's not. I mean, Discovery, you could make the argument that season 3 had episodic elements where you could, look at an episode in isolation. You could do the same. You could do the same here if you really wanted to, but I don't think that it serves. I don't think it works. I don't think it. At the moment, I would say that everything's a TBC.
Understood.
Yeah, so we'll see. I remember I gave the first episode when we watched it first time around. I gave the episode 3 out of 5. Remembrance. So yeah, there we go. 3 out of 5. But yeah. I remember the last 2 episodes. These 2 episodes that started dipping a little bit. But I would say, interesting nugget as we leave, is this episode I think is my favorite so far.
Really?
Yes, which is a complete, which is very different from the last time. I think I enjoyed this more. I think it's because I've had time to think about it. It's all pieced together a little bit more. You have the benefit of rewatching it, but I am, I know people disagree with me, but I don't think that you have to watch something repeatedly. You shouldn't have to read books. You shouldn't have had to listen to a podcast that explains everything. This stuff should stand on its own merit the first time around. Obviously, watching something repeatedly, you're gonna understand it and appreciate it more. Although saying that, I have watched Tenet for the 38th time and I still don't get it. So that's
stupid.
I'm stupid. I've got room temp IQ. And on that bombshell, everybody, it is time to end. Thank you very much for joining. Do come and join us tomorrow for episode 4, which is Absolute Candor. Absolute Candor, that stupid thing that they do. 9 o'clock GMT tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow, and hopefully Chris will be with us. And if not, it will just be me, and or might even rope in some guests. So do come and join. And until next time, live long and prosper.